we now have the grand final of Start in Block. And I'm going to pass the mic over to Nathaniel to get us started with this. Big round of applause, please.
Hello, everybody. How's the temperature over here? I hope that you're as excited as I am. As a matter of fact, this is my favorite part of the week. No, it's my favorite part of the year because we've been grinding so hard to make this possible, and tonight, you guys are the lucky one. You are the one that gets to see the best founders pitching in front of you. This is going to be the grand final of Start in Block. My name is Nathaniel El-Kaïm. I run Paris Blockchain Week Startup Competition and Institutional Days, and I also run a DeFi fund. When we thought about Start in Block, we wanted to give something to the founders. We wanted to give something to the one that bring this industry forward. And as such, we had in mind the goal of making sure those guys are rightfully equipped to tackle what this market has to offer. If you're in crypto for long enough, you know how hard it is to build in this industry. And to build successfully, first you need resilience, of course, but you need powerful ally. And when we thought about all the elements we could give to founders in their journey toward a successful venture, we thought we could bring over $10 million in prizes. And that's what we've done. $10 million worth in funding, grants, mentorship, office hour, and obviously visibility. And that is thanks to our sponsors and partners. From those $1 million in prizes, we were able to attract over 1,000 companies, 1,000 early-stage founders building to bring this industry forward. And when we look closer into the data, we could see that those guys were quite early because the vast majority of them are from pre-seed and seed. And while we are Paris Blockchain Week, actually less than half of the funders are coming from Europe. So this is a global stage where the best contenders get to present their ideas. As such, we were able to narrow down to the top 100, the 100 best founders. These are the names you want to follow. These are the names that were the hardest to actually select and narrow down to 4, and actually 3 winners pitching today. Because from those top 100, we selected the 4 best in all of their categories. We had a BitTensor track, where Subnet gets to pitch their ideas. We had an institutional adoption track, led by Cardano. And we had a Diff AI track, led by Spectrum. And from all of those founders that pitched yesterday and today, only one of each track is going to pitch in front of you today. First of all, winner of the Yuma track, we had Manako, that's going to pitch in a shorter while, Sundial from the Cardano track, and Risk Protocol from the Spectrum track. I'd like to thank our sponsors and partners that make this possible. When you build in crypto, you know you need powerful allies, and these are the best guys to build with. The rules of the show are simple. Every founder gets 3 minutes to pitch, no less, no more, and I'll be sharp. 3 minutes questions and answers with the jury members, and then we'll get 2 minutes to get the jury's feedback on those founders. After that, we'll have the jury letting us know what they think about the companies and how they want to attribute points. They'll have 7 points, and that way we'll be able to know who's the first, second, and third winner of Start in Block 2026. So, without further ado, I'd like to call on stage our amazing jury members. Please, a thunder of applause for them. So, if we bring the best funders, we also have to bring the best jury members. And for this, I'd like to invite you to give us a small presentation of what you guys do, who you are, and I think the audience will have a pretty clear picture of why we bring such a huge lineup. So, Jesse, would you like to start?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone. This brings me back because I was a trial attorney for a long time. So I spoke to a lot of juries and judges, and I get to be on this side now. So I'm Jesse Brooks. I'm the CLO at Ribbit Capital. We're a pretty small team, so we all are involved in the investments as well. Ribbit Capital is a VC based out of Palo Alto. We've been around for almost 15 years now, investing in fintech, crypto, and AI, and it's just been really, really fun. I've been in crypto for pretty much as long as well, so seen it grow and evolve.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining this panel. I think the feedbacks will be amazing. Tomasz, would you like to keep going?
Hi, everyone. I'm Tomasz Stanczak. I'm founder of Nethermind, which is a blockchain infrastructure core engineering company, mostly focusing on Ethereum. Last year, I was at the Ethereum Foundation as a co-executive director, and at the moment, I'm building a new startup, which is a subsidiary of Nethermind that will focus on self-deployable robotics and AI businesses. So coming back to building.
Fantastic. And to finish this off, Mykolas, would you like to tell us a bit more about yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name is Mykolas. I work with Bybit, second largest global exchange. I'm Lithuanian, but I'm based on the plane, economy class. I fly to different places. I meet government people and try to explain them what is crypto. And then I meet crypto people and try to explain them what is government. And fortunately, I don't have to do it today because most people very well know and have the good communication with authorities, and authorities have a good understanding what is crypto. But what I have seen for too long is that many original crypto companies have been talking how they're going to disrupt the traditional finance like never before. But in reality, many of them are not even at the table. They're on the menu of traditional finance, who are slowly eating them up. And the only way to earn a place at the table is going back to the core and doing best what the blockchain industry and community was about, is building new services and new products. And this is why I'm so excited to be here to have a look at what the industry is building.
That's a fantastic way to get started. I think on this panel, we have a centralized exchange, a founder, a VC. What's best for our founders to be judged by? Would you like to give us maybe also your reads on the market? I think I'd like to double click on the institutionalization aspect of it. As a matter of fact, it's the first time we had an institutional adoption track, for example. I'd love to double click on that and get your sense of the market from your own perspectives. If you'd like to start, Tomasz?
Sure. Institutional 2025, 2026 is all big years for institutional adoption for hybrid institutional DeFi solutions. So great to see a representation of that. Obviously, huge direction towards agents and AI. Almost everything has to be AI now, but it's almost as simple as saying in the past that you have to build on internet or on mobile or on computers. So you just use AI also for operations, for building companies. I think that we all start going towards super challenging things that in the past would feel impossible, that AI is such an accelerator that we should look at founders that think that they can solve things that even a few months ago felt impossible. So be super ambitious. I think that's what the market is now.
Now that the froth of the industry is a little bit gone and there's a lot more focus on AI and other forms of tech, I'm really hoping to see pitches and industry really focus back on the consumer and building use cases that people actually want, because as we build in crypto, we have to remember what we're all doing this for. And a lot of times when you hear about these hacks and you hear about, a lack of focus on regulation and about protecting people and protecting their assets, you realize that, are we really building a safer, more decentralized economy where people have access to financial services, or are we just rebuilding the institutions in a different way?
That's a very fair point, and I think that's really the key topic I can see at Paris Blockchain Week. Because as much as we can see traditional finance willing to go into crypto, or crypto willing to export toward traditional finance, I think the right approach maybe lies in the middle. And we have companies who actually build exactly at this intersection. So I can't wait to get your takes on what they have to say. We have another time, I'd love to get first your expectations on what this is, because I think when I made this presentation, I had to put the standards very high in terms of going to 1,000, top 112, and now only 3 that gets to pitch. What are your expectations?
I spend a lot of time talking to startups, and being able to distinguish yourself in a sea of other startups in a very quick period of time. I'm very much hoping that people both know how to pitch, both know how to address an investor, a founder, and a centralized exchange, because in this future of a coalescence of financial services, you're going to have to be able to work with all 3 of them.
I would expect responsibility. Something that we often lack, and the things that we build and the things that we serve, that we're focus and work within the community, and there are many different stakeholders. And I hear a lot about people complaining about regulation, governments. But I can assure you that we'll look back in 2 or 3 years to these days now. We'll remember them like as honeymoon days of zero regulation, easy to do business, because many crypto companies, they don't realize how much regulation is actually coming our way. And it's not a bad thing in itself, because this is the engagement with a full ecosystem that is required. And understanding the authorities, understanding how we protect the consumers, understanding how we ensure that we build the products and the value that we charge for it is essential.
Well, I expect a lot of ambition and speed of execution, as nowadays, whenever you go to judge and hackathons, that's so different than it was years ago. Nowadays, the 2-3 days hackathons can deliver products that feel polished, they feel well presented, with something that even is ready to revenue generate if shipped quickly. So that's my expectation.
Fantastic. Well, then I hope those founders will match your expectations. Without further ado, I'd like to invite on stage our first contender. Please, Arnaud from Manaco.
Hi. So when I click, it goes?
Exactly.
Okay, brilliant. Hi, everybody. I'm Arnaud Defriant, head of BD at Manaco. Manaco is built on Score, subnet 44 on BitTensor. And today, I have a question for you. 1 billion cameras, 20 billion sensors. They see everything that matters to a business. Yet, nobody acts on any of it live. Latency in decision-making is killing growth. Something happens on a fuel network, on a construction site. Hours, days pass. Sometimes nobody even notices. That gap is priced into every business on Earth. So here's my question for you today. What would happen if all those cameras could act on what they see automatically without anybody watching? That's our shift. On the left, cameras as passive sensors. On the right, cameras active as vision agents. And that's what we built. Manaco turns any camera into a vision agent capable of seeing, understanding, and acting. Just explain what you want to detect in plain English, no code, no training data, and Manaco will build your vision agent and deploy it on top of your existing cameras. No new hardware is needed. We are building the business operations world model. With every new deployment, we make the system smarter and faster to redeploy. We have 256 Vision AI engineers. We have 7 live enterprise pilots, and we're top 10 subnet on BitTensor. Our moat is vision efficiency, accuracy divided by model size. A Manaco model is 145 times more efficient than Meta's SAM-free. When you scale this to an entire enterprise, thousands of cameras running 24/7, this does not become a rounding error. Avia has 4,000 petrol stations across Europe. When you have damages, undetected damages on a fuel network, it cripples the fuel network. It cripples the user experience. And Avia had an unsolvable problem that we took care of by building them a vision agent that is now deployed over 130 of their petrol stations. This is $3,000 per year per petrol station. And this platform scales to all fuel networks on Earth.
Thank you very much. I think that deserves some applause. 3 minutes sharp. Very good job.
Thank you very much.
Very good job.
Shall I move?
So you can stand right here, eventually.
You want
Thank
to
you very much. And we can move on to the question and answer from the juries. You can sit right in the middle here. I mean, sit. Stay still over here, yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
But I like to. Who am I looking?
Well, you can go with both.
Can I go here?
Yeah, I think that
so I can see both.
That works.
That's great.
So, kicking this off
Yes.
with a question from our jury members.
Sure. Thank you so much. Very good presentation. A little bit nervous, but everybody's nervous on stage. I've been on stage 5,000 times, and I'm nervous every single time I go. So it's natural to be nervous and nothing to be nervous about. My question is simple. So how are you guys going to make money out of it?
So when we build a vision agent to a company, what we're looking at is scalability of the problems. So for example, with a company like Avia, they operate on very small margins in the petrol industry. So they're looking to move to unmanned petrol stations. They don't have the technology to do that, because on an unmanned petrol station, when there's a pump damage, when there's a bus hitting the roof, it takes sometimes 37 days. That's the worst nightmare. 37 days, insurance was covering the cost for 30 days, so it's 100K. We're also deployed in factories for quality of the production, because the assembly line moves at fast speed and they rely on humans, but they can't predict machine derivation. So, long story short, whenever we deploy, they run the vision agent on-premise and they pay a fee, a subscription to Monaco that scales across the yeah.
And the data protection rights, clearly in you, it's a very significant topic, and whatever you record from a personal basis, and if I go here and then there's some cameras here, I'm allowed to request for the information that was recorded about a particular person to show it to me and to delete it. How would that work here?
So 2 scenarios. When we are deployed in a mall, for example, we are in a pilot in a very big Parisian luxury mall, we comply with their standards. But they run everything on site. So they own the model. Once the model is trained, they're able to deploy it on-premise, and they enforce their data. I don't know, I don't have the word in English, but their data politic. So, for example, for Avia, it's 30 days. They erase it after 30 days, and that's it.
I have 30 seconds, if I may.
Maybe we can take one last question from Thomas or Jesse, because we have 3 minutes in total. So that will be challenging, and we'll move on.
How do you... Go.
The privacy is a big one, but another one is you kept talking about how the cameras are different because they will act, right? So what does that mean, and how do you control the mandate and put a proper harness on it, to address liability issues?
Maybe in
Can I take
2
this one?
sentences. You can take
Yeah,
this one.
thanks.
Real quick.
So the vision agent is an agent. So it is trained on a problem, and then it has reasoning. So for Avia, for example, it will identify a problem, it will take the timer, the camera, and then send it to Avia and send it to the maintenance. That's acting.
Thank you very much, Arnaud. That was an amazing job. Please, some applause. Well done. Have a good one. Yeah, you can take this over. And now, we can move on to the jury feedback. Thomas, you didn't get the chance to ask a question. You'll start first in the second pitch, or give us your feedback now.
No, I mean, I like the pitch. I really thought that there's great potential here, but I started thinking how quickly they can acquire new customers, because I would want to see them being very convinced that it's as well as super easy, that you go and you write it and it just connect it to your systems, but they started talking about training model and deploying the model internally, so it feels more like a bit more of the business-to-business integration. So if they could simplify onboarding the new customers for their platform, maybe I would love to see how that model works and how the technology works underneath. But it sounds super promising.
Good. Jesse, would you like to add something as a matter of feedbacks to Monaco?
It's such a complicated problem to solve. It's very difficult to hear in 3 minutes. However, for what the amount of time he had, I thought he did a very good job sort of addressing the problem and talking about how this is differentiated. That's a difficult thing to do, especially in the, speaking about LLMs on BitTensor and how to, establish it at businesses.
That's fair.
And I just want to say thank you for taking the courage to come here, to participate, to step out, to reach out, to do new things, build new products, new services. I think that's really important, and that's exactly what we're lacking often in Europe. So this courage to come out and do new things. So really, really grateful for the people and for the team that is doing that. Thank you.
Fantastic. So without further ado, I think we can host the second winner of the startup competition, the winner of the Cardano track, sorry. Please welcome on stage Sheldon from Sundial. Great job.
Thank you very much.
You got this.
All right, well, first off, I want to extend an enormous thanks to all of the organizers here in Paris for Paris Blockchain Week. This has been an exceptional event, so thank you very much, guys. It's been wonderful. So without further ado, let's just jump right into who I am and what we're doing here. So my name is Sheldon Hunt. I am the founder and CEO of Sundial Protocol.
You just press on the red.
There we go, green
green
one. Thank you very much. So Sundial Protocol very simply aims to be the first truly native UTXO Bitcoin layer 2 that will, in my mind, take Bitcoin to $1 million and beyond. As we talked about before, and as we've been hearing, we need more products, more services. We need new ways to interact with blockchain. And Bitcoin being an enormous store of value, a great hard asset, it itself is not a smart contract. It is not capable of being product focused out of the box. It needs an additional component to it. And that is where we are bringing in the experience that we've now built up over years in the Cardano ecosystem. So Cardano being also a native UTXO chain with smart contract capabilities, we're bringing the best of Cardano and the best of Bitcoin together in a mutually beneficial way to accelerate both blockchains and further use cases here in Europe and around the world. So the problem now, as we know, Bitcoin will not on its own update. And so we've got an advantage with the tech that exists today, with the various wallets, with the bridges, with the beams that are now coming together for these chains to interact natively. So we've got on the Sundial side 2 major tracks that we're building out simultaneously. The first track, and I'll get into the actual details of this, and you'll see it actually in a moment, is around the native Bitcoin yield. Actually, we just last night announced and launched the testnet of our yield. And on our second track, we've got the actual layer 2, that is the programmable Bitcoin side of things. So this is a bit of a clip here running through our testnet, which is now live. I would encourage all of you guys to go and take a look at the website and see what we've been doing there. And now for where we're going to be going for next steps. We've already made this testnet, but we are already moving to product-oriented deliveries, working with the best in the industry when it comes to custodians, to wallets. We're working with exchanges and traditional finance, because this is where we believe the future is, in designing products that are fit for institutions that then go to the retail user. And now, to kind of close up, I just want to say thank you guys. We've finished our pre-seed. We're now closing our seed round, and we couldn't be more excited for the future. So win the long game. Bitcoin, Cardano, in it for it.
Thank you very much. Great job on the pitch. I'll get the clicker. Thank you, Sheldon. And you can actually stand right here.
Okay.
That would be great. That was a great idea from the previous contender.
It is, because they asked me to stay right there, but I don't want to give my back to everybody. So.
I see. In that case, we'll have the questions and answers from all jury members. If Jesse or Tomasz would like to start, maybe you didn't get a chance to ask a question before, so.
You mentioned bringing the best of Bitcoin and Cardano. What would be the best of each that you particularly focused on?
Oh, coming from the Ethereum guy, this is a good question, so thank you very much. Well, so really the major focus that we're talking about is security. I would say security is best. We've got an anchor in Bitcoin on the side of Sundial, and we've got now also some of the great tooling that's been built out over now 7+ years on the Cardano side for some excellent DeFi functionality. So we're bringing those two, and those are in my mind the best. We've got liquidity and functionality, but built up in an ultimate, uncompromising commitment to security.
Bitcoin's been around a while, and there are a few L2s out there. Why is the time for this to happen on Bitcoin, and how are you distinguishing yourself either technically or other than security, which you just mentioned?
No, it's a great question. So to date, of course, you are correct. There's been a lot of layer 2s. There's been a lot of focus on trying to be that utility layer for Bitcoin. We are different in the sense that we are natively UTXO, and that matters on the security side of things. But beyond just that, we find that a lot, and this is not to throw shade at Ethereum or any other kind of partners out there, but many of the other Bitcoin layer 2s, so to speak, are essentially Ethereum L2s that have a flavor of Bitcoin. They're not truly authentically kind of connected in any meaningful way besides just through bridges and a desire to be Bitcoin adjacent. So we are Bitcoin, anchored in Bitcoin, secure there. And another major differentiator is we don't have a token. We find so often that projects launch a token, that is their product, and they forget to do everything else. You get distracted by valuation. So we are committed to Bitcoin first and only. And so that is for the long run, and that is what we believe really differentiates us from all of these other L2s that have a lot more convoluted things built in.
Can you talk a little bit about your team? How does your team look like?
Yes. So we've got, well, and some of the guys are there in the audience, so hands up, yeah. But yeah, so the team is quite diverse. I myself began my days actually back in 2014 and 15 in Ethereum as part of the original group there. Originally, I'm a Canadian diplomat by trade and by kind of profession, and so I would like to believe I've been in a position to see where we're going to go here with both government adoption, institutional adoption, and again, dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But we've got a number of excellent developers. The team has had experience actually putting some of the first products on chain and to tokenize some of the first stocks and options now. I guess it was 6 or 7 years ago. So the team is small, 8 of us, but we're doing a lot.
Perfect. I think that's right on time. This was the last question. Everybody get to ask one at this time. So thank you very much. Please, a thunder of applause for Sheldon from Sundial. Great job. So now, you know the drill. Let's get to the feedbacks. What did you guys think?
I feel that many projects in the past in the crypto space, I say would follow that path of a bit of a research meme, that you have to believe that the research and the idea of building new infrastructure concept is good enough to attract attention and virality of the token. So the token is a product for many of those projects that accelerates the vision of others building on top of the platform. So I think it's a bit of an old-style approach. Maybe it brings novelty, but I think it also brings a lot of familiarity to other different style of products. Like when we say there is no token, usually at some point it appears. It's a normal path for many of those projects because as we see, the fees are rarely what drives majority of the revenue of the platforms. However, well, there are models which are very, very revenue driven. So that's how it felt for me, but it's a good try.
Great presentation, obviously very comfortable in front of the stage, and he said a lot of words that really mean a lot to me, which, security and like developing something without a token, which is interesting to have a different perspective. One thing I would have liked to hear more about is what problem this is solving that is different than what other startups or L2s or, Bitcoin itself is solving, and, work from there. It's a very short period of time though, so great job.
Yeah. I would echo what was said. I think it's important that the team seems driven, motivated. It often happens that the companies end up building a slightly different product or project to what they've started. But as long as they work as a team and they have a clear dedication and a clear understanding of what they're doing, I think that is a very important thing. One element which was missing is the element of regulation that may come into place here, and to be very, very clear on the touch of services of where that would require any sort of licensing and how would that be tackled.
That's only fair, and I think now has the time come to welcome the last but not least contender of this edition. Please welcome on stage Karamveer from the Risk Protocol. Please a thunder of applause. Here you go. Press here. Yeah, the green one. The floor is yours.
Crypto is the riskiest major asset class in history, and yet it has almost zero infrastructure for managing that risk. In TradFi, risk transfer products are a $18 trillion market. In crypto, essentially zero. If crypto follows the same evolutionary arc as TradFi, and it will, because institutions will demand it, the on-chain risk market is a $350 billion opportunity. And that's what we're going after at the Risk Protocol. We are building the missing risk layer of crypto. We tokenize risk and make it tradable. The core of the platform is a highly sophisticated proprietary risk engine. It powers 3 products. Product number 1, smart tokens. These are a new primitive in DeFi. We are essentially splitting a crypto asset into different risk flavors, if you will, using synthetic options. An example, you deposit 1 BTC with the platform, the risk engine mints 2 smart tokens, BTC risk on, BTC risk off. BTC risk on is a 2x levered version of the underlying, but no margin calls, no liquidation. Risk off is BTC exposure with S&P 500 level volatility. It's the best collateral asset in DeFi outside of stablecoins. Product number 2, risk prediction markets, purpose-built for crypto risk events. Volatility spikes, liquidation cascades, regulatory shocks, etc. Proprietary data plus specialized risk domain expertise makes this difficult to replicate. Product number 3, risk intelligence, live risk dashboards, and the risk times, and AI generated daily using risk signals from our smart tokens and prediction markets. The team, our head of research has been mentored by and co-authored research with Nobel Prize-winning economists recognized for their work in volatility. Our head of risk ran derivatives at one of the largest global quant firms. Our CMO has scaled an L1 to over 55 million users. This is not a team that can be assembled easily. To summarize, we are raising $3 million to be first movers in a $350 billion market. The question is not whether crypto will financialize risk. Every major asset class in history already has. The only question is who owns the category, because the first mover in a category becomes the category. We are here to own it.
Thank you very much. Again, another amazing pitch. Thanks a lot. So now you can stand right here and have the answers from our jury members.
I guess I'll go first. Thank you so much. That sounds like both a derivative and also an insurance product. Which regulatory angle are you leaning into and or avoiding? And how are you thinking about that, particularly in the realm of increased and avoiding market manipulation and other sort of manipulation of the crypto industry?
Okay. So it's not an insurance product. We are using, what we're doing is, for the smart tokens, we're tokenizing option strategies. So in that respect, we are no different than a derivatives. Derivatives derivatives. Derivatives, you have to buy the individual securities and then put together the different legs to create a risk profile. What we are selling from our perspective, we are selling risk exposures. We're not selling options. So the regulatory angle is from a DeFi perspective. Yes, you're absolutely right. In the US, we'd be subject to SEC or CFTC regulation. So when we launch ex-US, and we work in the background to secure the regulatory approvals in the US. It's too big a market to ignore, but it's not one we are ready to launch into right now.
I would like to hear your take on prediction markets. You mentioned them several times in your pitch. How do you see them going forward, just so we get the feel of how you see the market?
Yeah. There's a lot of...
Just briefly, yeah.
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of hype in prediction markets. But if you look at the markets that matter currently, it's either politics or it's sports. Where the utility is pure speculation. Folks are punting, and there's nothing wrong with that. When it comes to risk prediction markets, here you have the speculative angle as well, but they have more at stake because each of the risks that they're taking a position on is a risk that they are exposed to in some way, shape, or form. Liquidation, a very real risk. Smart contract exploits, a very real risk. So our angle is we are using our specialized risk domain expertise to launch different products from the same risk engine.
And we have 30 seconds left for a question.
So with the portfolio of products, how do you want to go to market? Like, in what order? Where do you want to get the distribution to your first customer?
Yeah, that might be a longer answer, but I'll take a stab at it. So we've sequenced GTM in 3 phases. Phase 1, seed the narrative. In this phase, the objective is simply to get buy-in on the RiskFi narrative, to familiarize folks with smart tokens. So for phase 1, we launch with...
You can say, finish the sentence, let's say.
In phase 1, we launch with just the smart tokens, risk on, risk off, on just BTC and ETH. But we have 6 other strategies. So those will come sequenced out in phases 2 and 3.
Thank you very much. Please a thunder of applause for Risk Protocol.
Thank you.
Great job. And now I think we're on to the last feedbacks from the startup that just pitched. We'd love to hear from you guys. What did you think?
I definitely don't hear that pitch a lot, which I think is amazing and unique because I hear a lot of them. It's a very difficult concept to explain, which obviously you can't do in 3 minutes, and he did a formidable job doing so. The bigger issue for me would be how do you explain it to the potential customers, and how do you get that first, second, third from there and explain the problem that you're going to solve. I think we began to get there, but obviously we couldn't finish that one.
Got it.
Yeah, I guess it's really hard in this short time that was given, but I would love to see much more sharp clarity of how to go to market, how to get first users on board, bring volumes, and maybe more focus on single offering and clear presentation that REST is supporting the major product. But yeah, it seems that the team is ready for a challenge, so great to see that.
3 minutes is always challenging, I agree. That's where the focus needs to be full and every word kind of counts.
I actually like it, and I didn't hear the positive vibe here from my colleagues, but I actually like really what they were saying, what he was saying, that what he's building, the slicing and pricing of different risks, and the interaction with the traditional markets that we have right now, and the opportunities, I think, are definitely out there. It's important that what the colleagues mentioned, that the go-to-market, and how you package and you sell the actual product, but of what we were able to hear within the short presentation, I would like to hear more, and I think that would motivate me to vote for this one. Yes, thank you.
Great. I think that's a strong signal for what we want to see more in this space. And well, at this point, we had all 3 founders pitching their ideas. So we're going to move to the best part of this show, this edition, where we basically are going to go through all the founders the projects and see how you guys make up your mind. So the rules are as follow. You have 7 points. You can think of 7 Bitcoin. You can allocate, and there's no double spending, so it has to be 7 in the end. And you can allocate to the 3 funders the way you want, unevenly or like the way you want, basically. And out of those, we'll be able to do the math. So I'll let you guys make up your mind real quick on the paper, and then I'll tell a little story to the audience, so then we can get back to you and get the ideas of what you think of the companies. That work? Well, while the jury is making up his mind, because the stakes are high for this competition, so we want to make sure they have enough time to decide how they want to select out the startups, I'd like to share a story of the backstage of this edition. 2 years ago, on this very same stage, we actually made Starting Block a TV show. We had Tim Draper and other guests shooting a TV show with the founders. And the reason why we do this edition and we have so much interest for founders is because we want to see where they grow, what they're going to build. And 2 years ago, there was a guy who pitched to Tim Draper, and he actually won the edition. He was then invited to Silicon Valley, and just a few months ago, we learned that he won $1 million funding commitment from Draper Associates. So what we would like to say is that not only events is a good way to build connections and link people to one another, to have beautiful things being built. We build nothing alone. I mean, at this point, we could see that even the value of pitching to one guy could lead to millions in funding, because this was just the tip of the iceberg and one of the elements we could see. But since then, since all the companies that have been winners of Starting Block, we could see some actually doing other funding rounds, growing a lot, launching a token, being able to develop in this ecosystem, and eventually becoming a sponsor of Paris Blockchain Week. So we even had the full life cycle, and we like to say that we have this presence in the space. So without further ado, I'll get back to the jury members now. And before you guys give me the 7 points, I'd love to basically get each and every one of you opinion on the founders that pitch. When we started, I asked you about your expectations. Were they matched? What did you guys think?
I'm really excited to see new things being built. And I think this is exactly what we're missing from the conferences, from the community gatherings, and we keep on talking about where the Bitcoin is going. Bitcoin is going to find its way back without us talking about it. We need to focus on building new things. It's like Mona Lisa, it's great without us talking about it, but what we can do, we can support young artists to build something new. And I think this is fantastic. What you're doing here is helping people build new things, and so grateful to you guys for doing that. Yes, really.
Thanks. It's a pleasure, and I think it's a good testimony of the quality of the space, both from the lineup we had and how this echo over time. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to know who the winners here is, but we'll keep going into knowing more about what you guys think of this. And if this echo to something you've been through, as you guys review a lot of companies, we'd actually love to get your insights.
It's hard to get on stage or get before anyone and either ask them for money or talk about what you're building. It's a very vulnerable position, so I truly appreciate anyone who puts themselves in that position. And I really appreciated how everyone was very receptive to conversation. I think something that at least the two of us on the end were talking about a lot and see a lot is that you can't build in this space without thinking about the regulation anymore. And it's a very complex space, and you have to be able to address those questions and acknowledge that that's what investors are going to ask about, because it's a real responsibility to take people's money, and there's a lot of things to give money to. So being very responsible and knowing that you have a mission and a goal and what you're moving towards, and how to make sure that you do everything you can to respect those people's money and keep it safe.
That's very interesting, because over the editions of Paris Blockchain Week, I can tell how the discourse kind of shifted. I was saying earlier that institutionals now are being much more involved in the space, and now even ourselves, we, as you say, want to make sure that we comply with the regulation, because that's important for the end consumer and for what the space is building. And I know for a fact that years ago, when at the early days of DeFi, or when like the ICO booms, all of that. We had none of those regulations, and sometimes we can see some nostalgia in the space of how it was before, how is it now. But overall, I think I do agree with you, because if we want to reach mass market at some point and have like escape velocity to crypto being available to everyone without all the projects that would not be relevant or would be different in terms of alignment with the global space, regulation might help. We even had like some regulatory frameworks in Europe, in the US, and see how this kind of shifted.
And it's not just about regulation and avoiding getting in trouble as you think about it, but also, we invest a lot in institutions and fintechs. It's a commercial decision too, to be able to build a product that, TradFi money wants to enter as well. So, you're talking about how institutions are here. Institutions have compliance officers, they have legal teams, they have their own regulators, so you have to always think about that access of money as well.
Definitely. Tomasz, would you like to share your thoughts with us?
Yeah, I think each team had delivered on some of those that were said by my expectations. So you've seen some examples of already product in, at least described as in production, as operational, delivered, and working, and ambitious and using AI, and also seen a lot of ambition on the infrastructure side and big projects to be delivered. So yeah, great to see that.
Fantastic. And can you say maybe now, the jury members, what you guys would like to give as points? I'd love to know how you thought of each company when you give me the points you want to attribute to them. So, Nicolas, would you like to start by stating how you would distribute those points and the reasoning behind? You can take your time for explaining us why you would allocate the points that way and having such ranking.
Sure. If I was allowed, I would give all of them exactly the same points, just for coming here, trying and building new things. And so I would like to support all three of them, if I may. Clearly, the rules are the rules, so we'll have to choose. And I've chosen to give 2 points to Monaco, 2 to Sundial, and 3 to the Risk Protocol. But again, I think all three are great ideas, and with the amount of time that they had here on stage to pitch and to answer the question, I need half an hour at least to, with limited knowledge that I have, to understand better what they're doing, to understand better the challenges, the barriers, the competition, and how will they make money out of it. But from what I've heard, all three projects seem to be really positive in terms of, I believe all of them will raise capital. All of them will go to market. All of them will be successful. If I were to choose, I would probably choose the last one, the Risk Protocol. But again, I believe that all of them are at par.
Got it. And since you've put the Risk Protocol as a kind of first in your positioning, was there something special about them that makes you feel that way?
I think the understanding of the market, the understanding of where the market is shaping, where it's going, understanding that the risk profile and pricing of different risk profiles is something that we would need much more. And if we can take a step back, like 50 years ago, we had people having one house, one car, one job. And you wouldn't risk to have two houses or rent a house or get fired from the job or buy another car, because there wasn't a social system to catch you when you make mistakes. And today people are much more prone to take risks because there's a social system that you fall, they catch you, and you can try again. Whilst the regulators often are trying to protect people like 50 years ago from taking risks. But people are much more confident in taking risks, and pricing, understanding, and helping people take those risks, price those risks, differentiate those risks, diversify those risks. I think this is something that really caught my mind.
Thank you very much. Tomasz, would you like to share with us the grades you've given to funders?
Yeah, I gave 5 points to Monaco and 1 each to Sundial and Risk Protocol. I like Monaco's presentation and the clarity of there is a problem, there is a business that wants to use our product, that's what we're starting with, and we can continue in the market, and potential is huge. And they also cared actually about the risk and data. They said everything is inside as an internal system policies, so they allow their customers to define it. So this is something that obviously you have to scan for competitors, for their go-to-market, for really what the technology is. Is it just a simple thing that you can clone and anybody can build it with an agent? But apart from that, if they just commit to that, I think it can be very, very strong business that can grow very fast. And many problems in the industries could be resolved by just helping those companies that already, like the great thing is that you already have those installations, the cameras, and it's already there, but many companies are not utilizing it to the limits, and now AI is just opens up a lot of opportunities.
I chose Monaco as well. I think the tangibility of it is really important to me. I've heard pitches that overlap with the other two. I think both of them did great jobs speaking and presented a bit of a unique side of it. But the Monaco one in particular, I can think of endless use cases for it, and the concept of sort of embedding it in the existing systems of companies is a thoughtful one because it addresses liability issues, it addresses some of the data privacy issues as well. I think thinking about how you're going to build something unique that like a larger entity could not build themselves is something that I would add to the pitch if I was giving feedback on how to improve it in the future. But to me, there was something about being able to see the use case and also like leveraging the existing tech to just improve it slightly rather than try and recreate something out there.
So Monaco would be your winner. Would you like to allocate all your points to Monaco or spread them differently?
No, I like to spread them around so that everybody has some. But I would have given Monaco 4, Sundial 1, and the Risk Protocol 2.
All right. Well, if I did my VC math good enough, I think we do have a ranking by now. I think that we can now call the winners of this edition. All three of them will be invited on stage because we're going to get the exact ranking of Starting Block. Please welcome on stage all contenders. So, thank you very much, guys. You can line up over here. Great job. I think you all did an amazing job. I'm going to distribute the prizes now. So, for the third contender of this edition, I would like a special thunder of applause for Sheldon from Sundial. Please. Congratulations. My pleasure. Here is your prize. As a second winner of this edition, I think this belongs to the founder of Risk Protocol. Congrats. Well done. Great job. Well, now there is no more suspense. I think we can all congrats the winner, the number one of this edition. Please, Arnaud from Monaco. Congrats. So now I'd like to we're going to take some good pictures. So I'd like you guys to come forward. We're going to take a group picture with the jury members. So you can all stand up and come forward. Over here. Perfect. Yes, as a line, like that. Like this way. Yeah, exactly. A V shape. Perfect. Perfect. So we can look that way and get a picture of the audience, of the here. Well, congratulations, guys.
Welcome to Signal Week.